So, in looking at the television industry, is your feeling that they're on the right track when it comes to content and adapting to changing platforms? Is there something that could be done in addition?
I think that the television industry is basically on the right track. I mean, I consider it my industry. That's where I've spent my career. Has its own stresses and strains. There are distributors and there are providers, and there are always, there's tension between those, and there are the program producers, and there's tension there. Everybody wants a bigger piece of the pie, and you have to work out something that works for everybody. But you do have leaders and companies, not only the Roberts and the Barry Dillers and the entrepreneurs who build things. I don't want to leave anybody out. There's a lot of them. But you also have Ann Sweeney's. You have executives who are quite dynamic, who are raised in a cable environment, which is highly competitive and entrepreneurial as well. So I think that spirit has led us. I mean, Disney was one of the first companies to allow some of its premier product, Desperate Housewives and Lost, to be available over the internet, iTunes and downloading that kind of for a price. Because they knew that having old episodes of Dragnet, and I love Dragnet, but having old episodes of Dragnet, of I Love Lucy or something, is not how you develop a business. It's got to be the product that's very current and people want, which is what others were doing at that time. So yes, I think the industry has enough vision in it and enough leaders in it, and I think we as researchers have to support that and remember this context and not get too tied to doing things by the existing way.
And what do you see as the role of research in the current environment?
The best definition I ever heard of what research offers to a television company, probably any company, was from a marketing executive when I was at NBC in the late 80s. GE had just taken over, and they wanted to question all expenses, as they should, in this company, and cut out, economize wherever they could. You've heard that before. They asked the head of marketing at that time what research really did for him, because sometimes creative people don't like research. It constrains them. And he said, it's like turning the lights on in a room. It shows me where the furniture is, but it doesn't tell me what to do with it. And that's kind of what research does. It goes up to the point where you can enlighten and give people some idea, the user some idea, but you can't take them the last step, and you always have to remind them of that you're the one that makes the decision. I, the researcher, don't make the decision for you, nor should I, because that really is infringing on their turf. So I would tell every producer for whom I did a program test, some of them loved me, some of them hated me, I would tell them, if this test is terrible, that doesn't mean don't put on the show. What it means is look at the reasons why people are reacting badly to it, and then you decide what you're going to do about that, if anything. Maybe you feel you should do it anyway, or maybe you feel, maybe I'll tweak this a little bit. But it's just to turn the lights on in the room. That's what research is about, and you can't underestimate how valuable it is to go into a room with the lights on rather than off.
Tim, can you tell us a little bit about your CRE project that we will call, for just the sake of expediency, the Research Mapping Study?
Yes, the Council on Research Excellence is only 6 years old. When they're involved in it since the beginning. They keep me around. They allow me to hang around, even though I'm a consultant now. And it's best known for its video mapping study, video consumer mapping study, which was where observers were sent into homes to actually watch people using different kinds of video technologies and how they use them together and interacted and that sort of thing. A lot of publicity about that. It's now undertaking and partway through a study which I would call a research mapping study. As the technology has changed so rapidly and continues to, many people, many entities, private and organizations and companies are doing research. And what are they finding? Well, you see a little bit here, you see a little bit there. Nobody's taken a look at all of the kind of good studies in one place. So what we did, the committee that I'm involved in, is contract with a company to survey the landscape, assemble all of the studies they could find, both publicized studies from private sources and organizational studies like those from CTAM, and assemble them into a big database with synopses of what they are. Some of them are freely available. You can download them. Some of them is just the top line, of course. Our next step is going to be going through all of these studies, all from the last couple of years, basically, about mobile video, about internet streaming video, about all the elements that are kind of swirling around us right now, and find what themes we can find between them, what gaps there are that really hasn't been gone into, and take a look at the map of all of the studies, all of the major studies. There are about 140 or 150 of them have been identified so far. So I think that's a very exciting study, because in this period of turmoil, there's turmoil in research too, and we don't really have our hands on the big picture of what we're learning from it.
It sounds like a bibliography.
It's an annotated bibliography, I would say, that is then to be used for the next step of gaps and